What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be watching this video from Novel about the Battle Royale genre essentially dying. I assume is what this is gonna be about. It's called Battle Royales Are Cooked, and I feel like this is something that people have talked about for years. I feel like even mid 2018, when kind of the initial hype from Fortnite died off, people talked about how Battle Royales were just gonna die and the genre is dying. And I've just always disagreed. I feel like a lot of people think the Battle Royale genre is going to die and then all these games are just going to go away. Or that's what people thought early on. And I think that's just not what has happened at all with previous games. Even when like trends and kind of fads come and go, the games that are successful in those fads do well. Like prior to BRs, there was like arena shooters like Call of Duty, Halo, Gears of War. Every game had like a traditional Call of Duty-esque PvP multiplayer, even when it didn't make very much sense for them to. Like, I think even Mass Effect had, like, a PvP multiplayer. I know Dead Space 2 had, like, attacked on PvP multiplayers. Like, every game was doing that. And then that kind of stopped and died off. But Call of Duty's still there, you know? And then Halo's still there. Infinite's not doing very good, but, like, when it came out initially, it had that potential. So, like, I think the genre has died in the sense that people aren't rushing to make new Battle Royale games. But that the games that are there are still going to be successful and popular. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, subscribe. His channel will be linked down in the description below. Get you for the 6-month sub in advance, Burby, enjoy your sub badge emotes, and ad free viewing. Thank you.
The most popular genre in
This video is
that
quite
has
quiet.
held its own for over half of a decade is slowly dying.
A brand new Melee Battle Royale named Rumbleverse was released to the public. It was fresh, it was colorful, it was innovative, and after just 6 months of being online, it was shut down.
This happened a lot. I don't know if he's going to talk more about those games, but like I said, early 2018 to like mid to late 2018, all these games were rushing to make Battle Royales. Like there was like Realm Royale, there was the game he ever just talked about, Rumbleverse or whatever. If the game is dead within 6 months, it was never alive. Like all those games that fell off and died, I feel like never really had the momentum that like Fortnite, Apex, PUBG, Warzone all had. And them dying, I don't think is really indicative of anything. Like a lot of games had attacked on BR that didn't really do well. But like the ones that are there, I think are still going to be here long term.
Battle Royale as a genre dead.
A bunch of brainless updates has caused the game to slowly lose popularity since its
This is 2018 people were talking about this, like I said.
peak in July 2018. But was it just the bad updates? Or was it the fact that people just lost interest in the game over time?
Once upon a time, Call of Duty was at the forefront of multiplayer PvP arena shooters. And even the franchise Halo held the title as well alongside Call of Duty. That is until one day Krafton and Tencent decided to make a game called PUBG.
But yeah, before BRs, that was kind of the hot genre. Even that's not necessarily true, I feel like, because hero shooters were a thing. But those games that were successful when that was kind of the hot genre are still successful today.
PUBG would be a battle royale game. Every single player drops in, grabs loot, shoots each other, and well, I'm sure you understand the point, last team to stand wins. And ever since PUBG's popularity exploded within the gaming market, every single AAA gaming company, especially Epic, saw this opportunity and monetized off of it as well. So it's safe to say that PUBG paved the way for Battle Royale gaming to become a massive success within the gaming community. We saw an unbelievable amount of Battle Royale games that came out within the last 6 to 7 years. We saw games rise, we saw games fall, and we have games that are unfortunately already dead and just didn't make it to the forefront. Hyperscape, Spellbreak, Bloodhunt, Darwin Project, Call of Duty Blackout, Battlefield Firestorm, H1Z1, and even Fall Guys.
So Blackout, H1, Fall, I don't know how popular H1 was because I didn't play on PC during that. It was kind of before PUBG. But Fall Guys and Blackout I feel like were decently successful. All of those other games I feel like were never really that relevant. Like they might have had some players, but they were not even comparable to what, like, you know, Fortnite and Apex and Warzone are.
Guys were all great
Fall Guys
battle
definitely
royales
fell
off
off
release,
compared
but
to what it was.
unfortunately, the companies who made these games just did not know how to manage them, market them, and upkeep them. And so now they just lie in a grave.
Wait, what?
To manage them. Unfortunately, the companies who made these games just did not know how to manage them, market them, and upkeep them. And so
I feel like that isn't the fault of the genre at all. If those games failed because they were poorly managed, that's not because Battle Royales died, you know?
So now they just lie in a grave.
But I agree.
There are only 4 Battle Royale games that have made it to the forefront of competitive live service gaming within the Battle Royale genre. Warzone, Apex Legends, Fortnite, and even PUBG still stand strong to this day. One of the biggest problems with Battle Royale gaming is that the market is so extremely saturated, and some devs literally made identical copies of games like Fortnite, one of them being Creative Destruction, and even
Again, this game was never that popular.
a knockoff of.
And I do think the hype for the genre has died. Like, I don't think we're going to be seeing so many every single year, but I don't think that the ones that are here are going to go away. That's my point. But I definitely think that the hype and the fad of Battle Royales has died down.
PUBG. And of course, while they were able to monetize off of these knockoff video games, they just never lasted. Hyperscape is a fantastic example. When Hyperscape released, it was absolutely amazing to play. The movement, the gunplay, the team play, everything about it was amazing. However, Ubisoft just for some reason delayed everything and didn't drop the first season on time. Hyperscape eventually dropped in between a bunch of other massive games like Fortnite, Warzone, and Apex, all competing for the same spot. Very similar to how Titanfall 2 failed because EA dropped it in between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. But we are currently at a time where we can see that Battle Royale games are declining. Even though the Call of Duty franchise has basically used the exact same formula for the past god knows how many years, it's still a thing to this day. People still play it
100%.
and people still...
It's not what it was, but it's still a successful, popular game. Call of Duty's in a rough spot right now. There's a lot of games whose best day ever in terms of like player count and relevance is still significantly worse than Call of Duty at like a bad time. Like it's quote unquote dying, but it's not going to go anywhere.
Enjoy it. However, the Battle Royale scene hasn't even lasted nearly as long as the PvP arena shooter formula, and we can already see the decline. The problem is every single Battle Royale has multiple things in common that causes these declines. Cheaters, terrible microtransactions, horrible servers, lack of content, boring and money-grabbing content, terrible skill-based matchmaking, terrible servers, abusive developers at AAA studios, and the list literally goes on and on and on. And it's not just for Apex Legends, but these issues are something that we constantly see with massive AAA live service Battle Royales. One of the biggest problems that we see within the big 3 Battle Royale games today is lack of innovation and boring repetitiveness. Because back in the day, the studios were massively invested in making innovative...
So I don't know too much about Apex and Warzone. Warzone, I know more about it than Apex. Both of those games are in a bad spot right now. Like, quite a bad spot. Fortnite is in a great spot, I think. Like, Fortnite is doing fine. I think even recently there's been, like, record player count numbers. A season comes out, it gets hype. That hype dies down over time. That's kind of the standard. But I don't think Fortnite is dying or declining in any way. Those other games are, to an extent, but I think that's largely the fault of the way it's managed and not people being bored of Warzone and Apex. I don't think people are quitting Apex and Warzone because they're bored. They're quitting because of lack of content and broken updates. Warzone every year has the integration with the newest Call of Duty, and every year it's broken. And then, like, that just gets very fatiguing. If they were feeding the Warzone community content and the game was running well and, you know, getting the attention it deserves, that game would be thriving. And I think Apex is in the same spot. I'm very ignorant about Apex, but I think I saw people say there hasn't been guns added to the game in, like, years, like, seasons. Like, it's not like Warzone and Apex are both being treated perfectly and like there's constant content coming and then people just don't care. Like, people don't care because they're being mismanaged, or people are losing interest because they're being mismanaged.
Changes to actually keep players playing and make the game fun to play. Now, aside from Fortnite copying literally everything every other game did, the collabs that they did was what kept driving Fortnite and Epic as a company forward. Apex Legends introduced the revive system, where if your teammate died, all you had to do was just go grab their banner card, head over to a revive station,
When I ripped this off within like a month or two.
and boom, you're back into the game. Warzone eventually looked at this and said, we gotta write this shit down, and they introduced the gulag into the game. The Fortnite devs saw this innovative idea, said, write all of that shit down right the fuck now, and gave Fortnite a revive system.
The timeline on that's like, he's right, but he's wrong. Because like Apex came out, added revives. A few months later, Fortnite added revives, and then basically a year later, Warzone came out. But yeah, like that is one way they all iterated upon each other.
System as well. Eventually, Apex Legends even introduced Evo Shields. For new players to Apex Legends, before Evo Shields were a thing, you just had different rarity of shields. Shields in Apex Legends used to just range from level 1, 2, 3, and 4. And no matter how much damage you did, it never impacted if your shields evolved to the next level or not. And now with Evo Shields being a thing, you start off with level 1 white shields, and the more damage that you do to your enemies, the more your shields level up and you get extra defense. Warzone,
So you get better for fighting, basically. If you're fighting people, your shields will work better.
introduced bounties, which Apex Legends even tried to copy and make a game mode about. And of course, Fortnite once again said,
Fortnite bounties were terrible, though. But like the bounties in Warzone were a very nice thing. Like you get a bounty, you go fight people, you get money, you get UAVs. You spam the UAVs, you find more people to fight. Like, it definitely helped the pacing of the game. Fortnite implemented it very, very poorly. With Warzone, when you got closer to the bounty, the circle got smaller. And so, like, as you got closer, their location narrowed down. Fortnite was just like a time-based thing. So it took forever to find the bounties in some games.
write that
Like, it didn't help you find
until
them.
the day came that they decided to remove the ability to create skyscrapers in 2 seconds for a little while. The developers of the big three always were innovating with new game modes constantly. Warzone got Rebirth Island, Apex Legends
Fortnite ripped that off, and it's called reload mode now.
got 3 strikes, and after years and years of the community begging and pleading for it, Respawn finally added solos to Apex as well as quads, while games like Warzone and Fortnite had these game modes as default since drop. And of course, Fortnite has its creative mode, as well as making the switch to Unreal Engine 5, which opened an entirely new door of exciting content. Fortnite basically copied the Roblox formula, where players could go in and create games within Fortnite using Unreal Engine. So if you didn't feel like playing the traditional Fortnite Battle Royale, creative mode, duos, solos, quads, anything like that, you could just go hop.
They do have countless game modes. I only want to talk about Battle Royale for the purpose of this video, though. Battle Royale is still massively more popular than any of these other modes or anything that Epic has put out. Like, if you compare Festival, Rocket Racing, Lego, like, if you combine BR, Zero Build, and ranked for all those modes, it's still far and away the most popular thing in the game.
Hop into a mini horror game mode
It's
that
not even
another
close.
player made and enjoy that if you really wanted to. However, one thing is very clear and very certain. The repetitiveness of these games will eventually be the downfall of these games. Aside from collabing with
I feel like you could say that about any game, though, right? Like League of Legends, like, it gets changes, but it's still basically the same thing it was in 2012, right? Like COD, the same thing. Like CS, they've literally been playing the same maps for like 10 plus years, right?
quite literally anything and everything under the sun, Fortnite hasn't copied anything from any other BRs in quite a while. And it
When was this made? 3 months ago? Yeah, Reload was out. They copied Reload last summer.
also doesn't matter what
It's funny how we're gauging like the relevancy of the genre based on if Fortnite is copying things. But they did recently add Reload mode.
Respawn adds to Apex Legends, the gameplay loop is still the same. And no, Warzone fans, adding proximity chat to Warzone isn't a we are so back move. Proximity chat honestly should be a default setting in most live service competitive games. The problem with constant repetition is that
So I don't know if this is the right time to talk about this, but I actually disagree. I feel like Fortnite has innovated a lot. Like, we got Zero Build in 2022. They added sprinting and mantling in 2022. They added hurdling in 2023, which is like an auto mantle thing. In the end of 2023, Chapter 5, They completely overhauled the movement. They changed the art style of the game to make it more realistic in Chapter 5. They added weapon mods, which were like attachments. They made all of the weapons projectile rather than hit scan, which was a change that people didn't like. They've gone away from weapon mods and projectile now. And then, was there any other new movement in Chapter 5, or is it just a change? They added medallions in Chapter 5, which were like a kind of a mid-game objective to go for that gave you a power-up. Like, I feel like Chapter 5 actually innovated too much. And even the car season, Chapter 5 Season 3, was a huge change and innovation in making the game more vehicle-centric. And it's like one of the most divisive seasons of all time. Oh yeah, we had augments in Chapter 4, which were like perks. You think for the bits fly? Like, I feel like Fortnite has innovated a lot, but if you just look at the game and don't play it, like, yeah, you're just running around and fighting people. But I feel like you could boil any game down to that degree, you know? Like, every game is what it is, and then that's what it is to an extent. But I think Fortnite has had a lot of innovation. And then this chapter, they went back to hit scan, removed weapon mods. They added the parkour movement, like the wall running, the wall bouncing, and the wall rolling. Like, just mechanics wise, there's been a lot of innovation over the past few years. And then I feel like there's always innovation in terms of like loot pools changing and then that changing how you play. The game plays very different when shockwaves are the mobility item versus like the grapple blade being the mobility item. And while that's not a huge change and it's still Fortnite and it still looks the same, like if you play the game, you know that stuff really changes the game.
Players like you and me lose interest over time because we're just doing the same thing over and over again. Drop into the map.
I agree it's a thing, but that's why there's like constant updates in Fortnite. Like Fortnite does a decent job of keeping it fresh, I think.
Grab loot, shoot that guy, die to that guy, go back to the lobby, rinse and repeat. The process is tedious. Well, similar to the infamous quote of insanity from Voss from Far Cry 3.
Insanity is doing the exact
What are they doing to that guy back there?
thing over and over again, expecting.
Bro, this guy sucks as a teammate. Like his homies are struggling and he's just sitting here talking.
That is crazy.
But if there's one thing that is really destroying not just Battle Royale games, but live service multiplayer games in general, it has to be microtransactions. While this may be a very
I think Fortnite does a very good job of microtransactions. Use code EvolveJake in the item shop.
controversial topic because some people don't mind microtransactions as long as it doesn't give you a competitive edge. A lot of people hate microtransactions because why the heck are we charging that much for a skin where you can take that same amount of money for a virtual skin and buy an entire
I agree though. Microtransactions are a waste of money, to an extent. Like you can enjoy the game the same way buying nothing than you can buying a bunch of skins. But I think that's why it's fine. Like if you just want to play the game and not spend a dime, you can do that. And you're not, at a disadvantage and the game isn't very different. But we're all addicted to buying skins. It is what it is.
AAA game with that exact same amount of money. Nobody likes microtransactions, but everyone buys them, no matter how expensive. And content creators play a massive role
Use code EvolveJake
in this too. And a lot of the times it's because players have dedicated themselves to the game, playing for hours upon hours and year after year on end. Skins in each game can easily...
I agree with that though. And like some people might see this as a bad thing that people feel like dedicated to a game, but that's just kind of how I enjoy games. Like if I'm playing a multiplayer game, I only want to play that game. I don't want to juggle like several multiplayer games. And so like I don't mind spending as much on the game. If I wasn't a content creator and streamer, I definitely would not have bought as many skins in this game as I did. But I don't really care, like, to be honest.
cost you hundreds of dollars, like Apex Legends selling a $400 death box. Fortnite had skins that originally costed just a few dollars.
This is a problem in other games as well. Like League of Legends recently had drama because there was like a several $100 Faker skin. I don't remember how much it was, but like he's a pro player he's like the GOAT of that game. And they did like some special drop for him and it was very, very expensive. Like this, I feel like this is every modern game, not just Battle Royales.
But now they're exclusive to a certain platform and they range from hundreds to even thousands of dollars. And who on earth in their right mind bought a Nicki Minaj outfit in Warzone? She doesn't even play Warzone, she just shakes plastic in front of a camera. Or even the Mecha Godzilla bundle that you had to pay $60 for. That's literally money for Black Myth Wukong right there. But alas, at least it isn't a $400 death box or even a skin that you need to buy an entire phone or Nintendo for, valued at hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But one of the problems for a lot of casual players who just like to bounce in between these games and purely just enjoy themselves, there isn't really any real progression outside of ranked. And for most casual players, the only form of progression is most likely battle passes.
This could be a problem for some people. I'm again just not somebody who's affected by this. Even before streaming, making videos before Fortnite, like playing Call of Duty, I would get to max prestige pretty quickly and I was still playing that game. Like if I enjoy playing the game, I enjoy playing the game. I don't need that added incentive of like progression, but some people do. I think even Call of Duty multiplayer though, people are unhappy that a lot of the progression isn't what it used to be. I think they went back to the old prestige system recently, but I like this is more of a modern gaming problem than just BRs, I think.
Which then again aren't even free. Outside of that, unless you have a dedicated team to play with, you are not playing competitive solo queue in any of these games unless you're an ultra sweat streamer and content creator who is trying to make content playing the game, and that is literally your job. The casual player doesn't really have anything to grind for besides the battle pass, and most of us just log in for about an hour or two each day to complete certain challenges which don't even offer that much of a reward at the end of it. Apex even took out one of the biggest things that players used to play and grind in ranked for, and that is none other than the infamous dive trails. Back in the day, one of the main reasons that people used to grind ranked was for the badges, dive trails, and the status of being high rank. When you drop out of the dropship and you saw someone with a diamond, masters, or even predator dive trail, it was something to fear and also something to be proud about. Now they removed the dive trails, added prestige skins, and they come with their own custom dive trails that can only be unlocked if you obviously put money into the game. Imagine being broke, huh? So aside from the absolutely terrible problems that a lot of these big battle royale games face that we mentioned right in the beginning of the video, mainly cheaters, terrible microtransactions, bad servers, and lack of content.
I'm watching this from a Fortnite perspective. There's cheaters in Fortnite. It's not as bad as other games. Microtransactions are maybe terrible. That doesn't matter to me personally. Lack of content, I think, is just not true at all. Servers can be bad at times, but like, I think Fortnite is doing fine.
It's safe to say that either these massive AAA studios are running out of ideas or simply are just not as committed and dedicated to making innovative ideas as they were before. Which is actually a really funny statement because these are billion-dollar games. Activision made $1.85 billion, rounded off to basically $2 billion in just one quarter. Fortnite and Epic have made over $26 billion to date. And they made over $6 billion worth of revenue in 2020.
6 billion in
2022 alone.
In 2022.
Apex Legends, Respawn, and EA has made $3.4 billion in total to date.
Wait, what? Okay, this kind of goes back to what I said about like a game that's struggling wishes they were Call of Duty's bad day. Apex in its lifetime has earned half as much money as Fortnite made in 2022. And obviously 3.4 billion is still insane, but I feel like that just shows the scale of difference. This is of May 2024, so this is like 5 years into the game. It's made half of what Fortnite made in 2022.
And EA has made $3.4 billion in total to date. So it's safe to say
that's insane.
That the money is not lacking for these companies to continue to make innovative ideas. And don't get me wrong, of course they're going to continue to innovate. But the problem is, it just seems like everything they add is just yet again a part of the insane cycle every single new season. For example, Apex Legends just had one of their supposedly biggest seasons, adding a new map, new ways to use weaponry, an insane amount of changes.
I thought Apex was like down bad for updates.
Yet the player count is the lowest it's ever been.
Doesn't feel casual. I was trying to see if there's like a complaint about the updates
in the
here.
past 5 years. So it's quite sad to say, but if these companies do not continue to slowly move away from the Battle Royale scene,
it's not looking good, Bev.
So I completely disagree with this video. I don't think people are losing interest in Battle Royales. I think that those big three can be popular for very long term. I think Fortnite is just doing fine, and kind of lumping it in with Apex and Warzone is kind of troll. But I think Apex and Warzone's problems are both of their own doing. If Call of Duty fixed a lot of the problems that people have with the integration and fixed the cheaters, that game would thrive. And Verdansk is coming later this year. That's the original Warzone map. If they fix cheaters by then and fix a lot of the problems with the integration, people will be happy. People right now in the Warzone community, I think, are just fed up because this happens every year where the COD integration happens. It breaks the game. Goes 6 months, they finally fix it. And then like 6 months later, the new integration breaks the game again. Like being integrated with every new Call of Duty release just doesn't work properly in Warzone. Like it feels like they lose a year's worth of like improvement upon the game with every iteration. And then Apex, like I said, I'm very ignorant about, but I think it's mostly just not getting the attention and like work it deserves. Not necessarily people just hating BRs. I feel like the genre would be dying if all of these games were doing, you know, a lot of work and doing great stuff, and then people just didn't care. That's not what's happening. Like Fortnite is doing great. People care. Warzone and Apex, I feel like, are trolling and people are upset, but they're not leaving the game out of boredom. They're leaving the game out of frustration with like the state of the game and how the developers are handling it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like I said, this is just like kind of tilts me because for years, people have been acting like Battle Royales in these games are just going to disappear one day because the genre will die. And I feel like that's just not how any game genre has gone ever. Like MMOs were the hot thing at one point. I don't know if there's as many MMOs coming out anymore, but like WoW is still doing good, you know? Arena shooters were the thing for a while. There's not as many new ones rushing to get made. Call of Duty's still doing okay. Hero shooters were the big thing at one point. There's not a million hero shooters coming out like there once was. Guess what just came out and is doing good though? Like Marvel Rivals. I bet people would have said the hero shooter genre is dead like a few months ago, and then Marvel Rivals came out and like clearly there's an audience for that. Like even if the hype of a genre dies, I don't think the games just completely disappear. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below though. Give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more. His channel will be linked down in the description, like I said. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.